Okay, so we'll discuss now protection of site, adjacent areas, and utilities. Uh, the issue of protection of site in general, we need to understand the major point here is liability. The major point here is liability. Liability, so you need to transfer the liability from your shoulders. So you don't need to be liable for what other people would do. So if you are doing road works, for example, so you need to mention that construction is ahead on sites, and you need to mention the side limit, which is in this case 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour. You need to have caution signs in yellow and danger signs in red. You need to have barricades and fences, and the difference between a barricade and a fence is that a fence is not movable. However, in most of the cases, barricades are movable. So this is another type of barricades that you could see here. And of course, these barricades, they have regular inspection, should be inspected on regular basis, together with other safety procedures. Noise control is very important. So if you are doing any activity including noise, maybe your neighbors could have a problem with that. So you need to understand that there are certain activities that have certain issues with noise. So, for example, pile driving activities, these are the most noisy activities you could imagine. After that comes compressors, tractors, chainsaws, all that stuff. Then we need to understand that there is a certain range of permissible noise exposure related to the duration of the noise. So the more is the duration of the noise, the less is the sound level that you could tolerate as a human being. So for example, you could tolerate 115 decibels only for quarter of an hour. However, you could tolerate what could you could tolerate for 8 hours would be maybe 90 decibels. So one of the major issues that you will see in several countries are sidewalk sheds. So sidewalk sheds, this is a side view and a section of a sidewalk shed. You could imagine the situation here. Simply, you have a construction site, and beside the construction site, you have the sidewalk, and you need to protect the sidewalk. You need to protect the sidewalk. This sidewalk, because you need to protect the pedestrians walking on the sidewalk. So you need to have a certain temporary structure above the sidewalk, such that if any falling object comes on the uh, 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 comes on the comes on the sidewalk, falls on the sidewalk, you will be safe. The pedestrians, any people walking on the sidewalk will be safe and will not suffer from any issues. However, if the building is high, it's very high. You need to have catch platforms every maybe 5 to 6 floors in order to capture any objects falling. Because if an object is falling from a 40 floor high location, you will it will eventually break this sidewalk shed. However, if you have a catching platform extended out of the structure, it will catch the object that is falling. Damage to construction sites is damage due to construction is very important to understand. So if you are having blasting activities, you need to define the blasting zone and inform people that there is a blasting zone that is existing ahead. In case of excavation, you need to have the excavation done taking into account the slope stability. So depending on the type of soil, you need to respect the angle of repose. So you need to construct whatever, you need to take this account into consideration while excavating, such that you need to keep a distance or protect the site by whatever technique of site protection. Also, protecting neighboring structures. Protecting neighboring structures is very important because you are liable for these structures. If something happens to these structures during your construction, you will be paying for it. So, bracing any unstable buildings is very important. Reinforcing old walls, for example, having a temporary roof above an existing roof beside your structure under construction. Also protecting utilities. Here you have third parties. The general public has rights. The general public has rights. The general public has the rights to protect these utilities. So if you are having a construction beside utilities, you need to have a ramp maybe above it if you are excavating around it, or you need to reroute it and hang it again, or you need to have this this frame structure that supports this pole that you could see here.